Lindsey asked a question that is a curious one. If a young lady, I remember this too, this happened actually.
I think it's happened in every church.
Every church.
Yeah.
Young lady in the
Once a
choir gets
quarter.
pregnant and they sit her down. And I'll never forget this one. They sat her down and they did
Didn't
nothing
send
to the
the man
boy.
down. I know
they
that.
did nothing to the boy. Is that fair?
That's that bullshit.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Because the truth of the matter is that her being, it sucks. Women always, the manifestation or the proof of the sin is in her, is on her.
Absolutely, because it's physical. You can see
Right.
it.
You can see it.
Like,
And so she's the one that has to bear the shame. And the baby isn't the sin. Right?
No,
it's
baby
the
is
sex.
not the sin.
So what is the benefit of sitting them down?
I think, and I've heard a gang of preachers argue this, that it is the fear that if you don't, it seems like you are encouraging.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I mean, human beings are just terrible at balance and, nuance.
Because why does it have to go all the way
Because
to that?
it goes all the way to the other side. Like, you're not doing a whole, and little Joanna is pregnant. Y'all, come on, let's praise the Lord.
you go, Joanna.
You go ahead, Joanna. What you now, girl? 16? Oh, look at God. You ain't doing that. Yeah. So, I never fully understood it. But I do, as a pastor, I understand the perplexity of having to balance the response to the things people do.
Because where is the balance? Because I would argue, and this is devil's advocate because I don't know where I sit, but I would argue that the fact that we've moved to a place where we don't want to shame people, we do kind of accept everything. It's like everything is okay. Like, yeah, there are 18-year-olds that have babies and then they come and get them blessed in front of the church. And it's like, okay, yeah, the baby isn't the sin. And it's, but like, there is no shame. There is no shame. There used to be, if you got pregnant at 16, you didn't get a baby shower.
It's crazy because that's a string of issues.
Like, why is a 16-year-old having a baby shower? You're not even supposed to be having a baby. And now we're going to have a party to celebrate.
And
I don't know.
Well, we celebrate the life of the baby.
And I get that too. But I think there has to be some level of shame. And I get it. I know
shame is a strong word.
I
is
believe
that the word
in
you
shame.
want to use?
Yeah, I believe that we should be ashamed when we make mistakes.
Ashamed and being shamed are two different things.
Okay, we should be ashamed sometimes. And I don't know if we should celebrate when, like, I and you know what? And I don't really have a lot of balance because I'm always embarrassed. I think, like, if I were to have been 16 and got pregnant, never. First of all, my mama wouldn't let me have no baby shower. But I wouldn't have wanted to. I wouldn't have been on social media pregnant. Because
we celebrate that. Like, I'm about to be a grandma because you 35. So it ain't a grandma, I'm a grandma. You 35 as a grandma, like, I don't know if that's something to be celebrated, which means your child is about 15, 16, if that, or if you had your baby at 15, 16.
But I think the person asked you, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to be cruel to my daughter? Do you want me, like, what do you want my response to be?
Just continue to love your child.
I just don't know if we would promote it. And I think that has a lot to do now with social media. And I don't know if it was a thing before as much because we didn't have social media. But now I do feel like you see people that are in the church heavily. They talk about church all the time. And then they'll be pregnant. And they're not married. And I'm not shaming because by the grace of God. By the grace of God, it wasn't.
Here go I.
So it ain't that I haven't been doing the same sin as those people. So I'm not saying that. But I'm saying if I were to come up pregnant, I don't know if I would advertise it. Because
but I think that's still the same. I know we're talking about sexuality, but to your point about the church and advertising and promoting on social media, it's almost the same in promote a pregnancy out of wedlock and then your praise and worship leaders with a bottle, turning up with their friends. You got the live feed, like, but you just up here. But because then where's the
there needs to be a difference between the church and the world, and at this point, there really ain't no difference.
Which
goes back to
the original question about the relevancy of the church, and like
it's
not relevant because they look just like us.
Yeah, exactly.
So why do I need to go to church when everybody in church is effing, everybody in church having babies at a wedding,
but
everybody getting drunk?
At the same time, if you wanted to shift, you don't even see priority enough in it to commit to more than an hour.
Because I want to do all of those things. So I don't
Let's keep it
look
real.
at me. Talk about the church, and the church looking just like the world, and that's me. I'm the one.
So how does it shift? Because you are now having a generation that will sit in church, go to church, and I don't know what they leave with. They leave with, I guess new friends, maybe slight inspiration, but they don't leave with something to suggest that maybe I need to, let the Lord work on something here, And I don't know if that's a reality of preachers, us pastors and elders, bishops, deacons, apostles, being not always right. Do you think people emulate what they see and hear of the pulpit? And so, pastor doing, churches where, so-and-so, bishop, elder, so-and-so is, the whole soprano section is his. And
I don't know anything about a church. That has not been my experience. Well, I don't watch Greenleaf. But that just hasn't been my experience with church. So I don't necessarily identify with that. But I will say that I think that we have gotten to a space where we really rely heavily on grace. And we believe that we can do what we want. And we don't really teach like the hellfire preaching no more, which I don't know if that was effective. I think it scared people some people to do right. But I think that we feel like I can have sex and I can drink and I can smoke and I'll still go to heaven. So then what is the point?
The point that is being missed in all this is, I think, one, the goal is not heaven. The goal is eternal fellowship with God. Now, where that is, what that looks like.
To heaven.
But see, and that's the thing. When we get to the place where we are just trying to get to heaven, then heaven has now become a finish line. I only need to do enough to finish this race. But when the goal is relationship that is unending, that means I got to consistently carry myself accordingly.
Now that's it.
For the person I'm with.
Now, you know what? Now that's it right there. Because that's so true, because I really do think about, I just really don't want to go to hell. Like that is fear number one, that I wake up and I'm just in hell. But I guess the problem is too, I think it has a lot to do with the way the hell is even preached. Because I think if it is preached, it's preached like fire and like this torture. Mm-hmm. And really, we don't really know the feeling of the separation from God, because God is always present with us currently. And so the hell may be that waking up and not feeling the presence of God. We don't even know what the absence feels like.
One person knows.
Jesus.
Adam.
And Jesus.
And Jesus.
And when Jesus spoke of it, it sounded pretty miserable.
When Jesus, this is the thing, when both experience that absence, both experience death. I don't believe we've ever fully experienced death, which is why the Bible says we don't grieve we don't mourn as those that have no hope. It is the relationship with an eternal God that spans beyond the boundary of the lifespan of this body.
I'd also argue, don't you feel like we would have to, I don't know if we felt the fullness of God's presence.
No, we have not.
So do you feel like there is a period of time that we will get that and then it'll be stripped?
No. I believe, based on the scripture and my faith, I believe that there will come a point in which we transition from this mortal body to one that is immortal. And from that point on, it's us and him. Now, what God decides to do, because I want what God decides to do.
Patriarchy.
From that, it ain't patriarchy.
No,
What God decides to do from that moment forward is only something that's in God's mind.
So,
but I don't think it gets stripped again.
You just brought up something though about, because you say, I just want to get to heaven. But I think that's my entire life. That's what's been preached.
Yeah.
You going to go to heaven or hell?
No, that's good.
It's like you're going to go to heaven or hell. But to your point, it should be about the relationship and going beyond just that finish line of heaven. Okay, I done crossed over into heaven. Look, the streets are paved with gold and everything's white and the pearly gates and all of this stuff. So I've reached it. All right, God, I'm here. I'll see you later. I'm going to go to my house over here.
And that's the problem.
Because I be thinking that too. I'm like, when I get to heaven, I'm looking for my daddy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And we preach that. And I've said at funerals that I apologize to families because I said the preachers have lied to you. All y'all ain't going to heaven. All y'all ain't about to be with the Lord forever. You not seeing Pookie again. If you have no relationship with the one that your great-grandmama had a relationship with, how you think you're going to see her again? Let's start there at the baseline and go a little bit deeper. It also speaks to the idolatry in the hearts of those that claim they're Christian. Because a lot of folk, not cueing you, but what you just said made me think of this, want to get there to see somebody other than Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Dang, I feel convicted.
So if I'm God, why am I busting my son to get you with me and you don't even want to be with me?
I'm confused though.
Well, now he know we love them people that he gave us. Now, dang, now you know I love my daddy. Come on, God.
I think it's when it's exalted above.
I'm confused because we preach, or y'all, not you.
You preached it.
We gonna see our loved ones again.
That's what they do.
I thought, isn't it in the Bible where, like, when you get to that point, you won't even know these people?
You ain't gonna. This is the thing. We all get new bodies.
Against that in the name
you
of
get a
Jesus.
new body. You get new. So, a recognizing of someone else. I don't know how that happens. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Jesus.
No, they didn't, because they walked with Jesus that whole road and was like, did not our heart burn within us? He was so smart. They didn't realize it was Jesus until
The women did.
the women did.
They always
The
do.
women.
You know the word.
Y'all-
I need to read. What y'all be reading?
What do you
Come
be
on now,
reading?
you know the story of Jesus.
I don't be reading. I can't
Now,
read.
that's one
I'm
story
glad
I
we
got
got these
down
different
pat.
translations.
The road
'cause
to Emmaus.
They
When
No,
they did-
I really want to go back to that point because
That King
I
James
think
version, boy.
that
What
is
point? I'm
your
stupid.
point about that people are just trying to get to the end, to heaven. And I think that was super powerful to me because I don't know if I thought of it as I want a never-ending relationship with God. And I think that sometimes, like, I believe in God and I believe
Just
all
sometimes.
of these things, right? But I do think that sometimes I struggle with the God in a tangible sense. So, because I get it. And I know we're like, you need to have a relationship with God. That's difficult for me because, I need to see stuff. And that's why you can be like, oh, I want to get to heaven and see my grandma. I want to see my dad because that's a relationship that I've experienced on a tangible level. And I'm sure that you can experience God in that way. But the scary thing is sometimes I think about it is like, sometimes I feel like in order for you to experience God in a tangible way, it has to be a horrible thing that happens. It's like, in my darkest hour, I knew that God was there.
I
And
called
it's like,
on the Lord
can
and
I
he
meet
showed
you
up.
in a good place? Can we meet on good terms? Do I have to go through the storm and the rain to know that you're real?
But it seems like that's the only time we need
acknowledge
him.
it.
Or
Yeah.
it's like when it's something
Nah,
bad.
see,
Can we do it another way?
Best experiences with the Lord have not been negative moments. It's been moments when I have, and it's going to sound real non-black to some degree, but it's moments where you just sitting, staring at, grass, and the Lord has a way to just put a breeze on you right in the right moment, right in the right spot, where you sense, without a shadow of a doubt, oh yeah, he got my back. He got my back. He here. And it's those moments that allow me to call on him in the other moments.
Yeah. But we minimize those moments too. Like, because
Well,
I've had experiences like I've had experiences like that. I'll go bike riding on the lake and then I'll just pause for a minute and sit there just staring out into the lake and just sit there and have that moment with him. And you feel this calmness, this peace that just overtakes you. You be like, wow, okay, God, I feel you. And then you go on with the rest of that bike ride and go back home. And then it's like, okay, that's something that happened, but we never go back.
You never go to, because
because I think that what I'm lacking in talking about that tangible side, I think we were meant to have it if we take the creation story seriously, and that they had communion with God. They were with him. And when sin entered the world, there was a separation. So, because it's like, I feel like I get that. And there are those moments. And it's like, I've had plenty of moments where I'm like, yo, God is real. And it's not just him getting me out of a hard place, but it's like, you just know.
But that's tangible.
But it doesn't feel like what you just described of like, I don't want to lose this relationship. I don't know if I feel overcome by it. The way that you.
But is there any relationship that you've ever had where you consistently 24/7 feel overwhelmed by it?
Not overwhelmed by it, but there are relationships where you like, I don't want this to end. And I don't want my relationship with you.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but even in that, are those feelings consistent? Are they nonstop? I mean, it's like any relationship, you're gonna have a moment where you're gonna be like,
True.
And then sometimes them feelings ain't connected to something pure. They connected.
All right. I'm talking about me and my mama.
I'm just saying in general. You said you and your mom. I'm saying in general, though. They're connected to other things.
Yeah.
That aren't always pure, aren't always healthy. And so for me, those are the moments that make me say, and I'm not old, but the older I get, the more I understand some of the old saints who just are like, man, I can't wait to just be with the Lord. And it's not because you want to die.
Because that sounds like, you know what that sounds like to me? Slavery. It sounds like
slavery.
Yeah, it sounds like life is so hard and I can't wait to be with the Lord. Well, what?
It's not about the hardness of life. It's about...
Yeah, what is it about?
It's about knowing from whence I came.
From whence?
And from whence I want to return.
Who talks like that? From whence I came?
It's just like if you miss somebody. You ain't never missed nobody.
Do you miss God? You don't even know him like that. Like in the way that I'm saying you don't even know him in the way that you'll know him when you die. You know what I mean? Like, why do you need to die to know him? You're experiencing him right now. Why you want to die?
Why you want to die? Because that's a whole side of his existence that we are not able to even step into in this body. That's God is an eternal being, a spirit. There's a side of us, even all the scientists and all of history have not been able to figure out the consciousness of a person. They can't figure out where it is. They can't trap it. They can't connect it to nothing. They didn't try to put it in computers and all. You can't pull it out. That side, that mist, is an experience that I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
And so I'm like, I want to see what that's like. I want to see what that's like.
Well, see, I think I'm more afraid of the unknown because
unknown?
What if, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's like. And I also think like that my relationship with God is, I really believe in God as like the creator of everything, right? Mm-hmm. And I believe that he's invested.
You want some tissue?
No, I believe that God is invested in my well-being.
Yes.
However, like when people talk about like God is my friend,
that's just stupid.
Unless God is, unless I'm one of those people that's like, God is in me, because I'm my friend for sure. Like I be having a good time with myself. Like I be cracking up, and So if that is the divine that I'm connected to, we good. But if there is something outside of me that I am friends with, I can't fully wrap my mind around that.
But see, I think that's the thing we miss. Now, part of it too is it's easier for me because I have a visionary mind, a theological mind. My mind doesn't operate with like these controls. And some folk are like, I got to figure, I'm not like that. So I get that it's a different process. But I think that is where we have to say, we are not going to figure God out.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think you hit a point where we wake up one day, I don't know how it happens, and you with the Lord, and you realize, I think that's when stuff just makes sense.
You mean when we get to heaven?
Take heaven out the equation. When we are not confined to a dying box.
Right. So you just mean like
Don't
life
we go to
after
the waiting
life.
room though when we die?
Because I would think
on who you ask.
I would think the waiting room is where you experience God. And then after God has judged the earth, right? Like the true experience of God. Listen, hear me out. Okay, let's say we go to a waiting room and God is there. We are absent from the body.
Why is he in the waiting room? Why is it a waiting room if he's there?
I'm saying the full experience of God, like God's presence, right?
Okay.
Then God judges the earth, the apocalypse happens, whatever you call it, the tribulation, whatever.
We might be here for that.
And then when it's, I'm going to be gone because I've already talked to God about that. But so in the end, when that is done, then people will be judged. Like, have people been judged right now, or are they going to be judged after tribulation?
There's a final judgment that is yet to come.
That's the one. I think that all of the people that have died are in the presence of God. And that's when you find out how terrible it is not to have God.
That's what I'm confused
about.
Hell. That's
Hell
what I'm confused
is
about.
I just spent 1,000 years with God, and now I have been fully separated from God, and it's pure darkness. That's what hell is. That's the fire and brimstone.
Let me pull up Revelation real quick, because I don't know what you're talking about.
You go to the
purgatory.
Room. That's the waiting room.
There's no purgatory. What are y'all? That's Catholicism.
What happened when you die?
How y'all mixing this stuff?
That's what y'all preach. This is what you talking about.
You ain't never heard me say nothing about no
right?
purgatory. You ain't talking about no doggone waiting room.